Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of MoftMinds. I still go by the name of Dorian's Grave, and we find ourselves, of course, in Olav H. Hauge here at the Literature House in Bergen. Summer is upon us, heavy, and finally it rains today. I know a lot of you probably didn't like that statement, but I've actually been waiting for the rain for a while. In the room today, we have a phenomenal songstress artist by way of Sierra Leone, originally living in Bergen, but now living in Oslo, of course, to pursue her music career is singer, songwriter, rapper, award-winning writer by way of Sierra Leone, as mentioned, and her name is Regina Tucker, but mostly known as Myra.
I was for no one to clap. No, sorry. I was waiting for someone to clap. I was like, okay, no one's here, honey. What's wrong with you? No. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a little correction, because I feel sometimes, I moved to Oslo before I started doing music.
Oh,
yeah.
For
So
sure.
to me, like, I never it wasn't intentional to move there and like, okay, I'm going to the big city.
It was just like a
it
random
was just a random decision, and I was there just to get to know myself and broaden my horizons and more. And then I fell into music there.
So you discovered music in Oslo.
Well, like
Your music.
doing and working music, I discovered over there. Yeah.
Well, since we're starting on that
Yeah.
note, I mean, you must have somehow, in some ways, had a passion for the craft before you moved to Oslo.
Absolutely. I feel like, but I'm from Bergen,
See, yeah.
and that's just how it be.
If you could choose, what would you choose?
What?
Bergen or Oslo?
Bergen. I think I'm not allowed to say anything else than Bergen. Like, people are watching this. Of course, but Oslo has become like a second home to me. Of course, like I live there and I have a good time. I have my friends there, but of course, like Bergen is always like it's my
charm.
It's a charm, and it's my love. But I did have a music interest. Of course, I've always had that. I feel like I grew up listening to a lot of different music and making my own melodies to it, and like when you listen to a song, you make your own music video in your head. I took it like a step further. I would start like making a new song out of that song that I was listening to, and so I always had a interest in music. Yeah.
Well, before we go back into that, I just want to ask, can you tell us like where you're originally from?
I am originally from West Africa. I'm from Sierra Leone, which is a country in West Africa. And that's where I'm born. And I've been I came to Norway when I was 4. So but I still like my roots are,
Tell us about like your fondest early memories from Sierra Leone.
I wish I had more, and I wish I was only 4 when I moved from there. So I think when you can't differentiate if it's something you remember or if it's a dream. It's so long ago, so I don't really have a lot of like strong memories from there. I have some, but not really like I don't really have a lot of memories from there.
So how did you end up in Norway?
We were living, I was born when there was a civil war. And so I'm basically like born under the war. We were kind of, fleeing from the war, and we were living in this refugee camp. I don't remember for how long. I think it was like a year or 2, and we were able, because of two Norwegian women, actually. This story, I don't know if I've told this story before.
Here you go. Welcome to MoftMinds.
Yeah. You know, like my mind is, I don't know what Moft means, but I was.
Meeting of the minds.
Huh?
It's an acronym for meeting of the minds.
Oh,
So
okay. So my
MoftMinds.
mind is just getting, Mofty somehow. Where was I? Yeah, there were two these sweet white ladies, from Norway, who became friends with my mother, and they kind of helped us get in as I don't know what kvoteflyktning is in English, but we were able through them to come to Norway because they wanted us in Norway. So that's kind of, I have wanted to, my mother actually remembers their names. I think one is called Vaslemøy.
Okay.
And I don't remember yet the other. But yeah, I would love to speak to them one day. I don't know where they are in the world.
Maybe they're watching right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're kind of old. I don't know what the
vibe is.
anyone watches, or what's the vibe? I don't know. You're like kind of, young.
I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing anywhere from 13 to 65.
Okay, I think maybe they could be older than that. So so that's kind of that's how we landed in Norway, and we're able to come to Norway.
Just coming to a new world. What were your impressions when you came in?
It's so weird because I think, there were, just the concrete, we ain't used to that concrete. And like, and just the weather and I don't know if I can say this, but we were kind of fascinated over people walking with their hands in their pockets, because you don't do that in Africa. You know what that means, or at least in West Africa, you know what that means, right? You're up to no good if you're walking with your.
I'm glad you said it.
And can I say it? Can I say it?
And I've never said that before.
But we know.
But I know what you.
We know. You know what I mean. Yeah.
So it was one of the first things I noticed when I came here. I was like,
what are you doing? Like, what are you planning?
I was super paranoid and super scared,
You were scared.
Yo, I looked at my dad and I was like, yo, trying to kill us or something? What's going on?
But you don't do that. And that's so funny, like the cultural differences. Like they were walking with their hands in their pockets because it's cold, And but I think those things or like the cultural differences like follow you a bit. I see, African people wearing like shorts and sandals in the winter, like today. And I'm like, I could do that also, because you never really have that kind of rooted within you. But I do sometimes put my hands in my pockets, to be honest.
But that's the beauty of culture, in my opinion. Because if you moved to Bergen or to Norway when you were 4 years old, but still you remember that.
I know, that's crazy, right?
That's and it's so hard to explain, because I can imagine when you're with like your Norwegian friends or whatever, and you'll be like, yo, like get your hands in your pocket. They probably look at you like, what's wrong with you? And these are the things I think people tend to forget. In Norway especially, where the right questions, like people take for granted that once you live here, you automatically become one of them, especially over time.
Yeah, you do.
Right?
Whether you like it or not.
Precisely.
I know.
To forget that you have a whole background behind you. So you're here, you're 4 years old, and of course the language, what was that like for you?
I do remember when I didn't know Norwegian, and that I think I was 5. But since I was young, you learn quicker when you're a child. But I do remember like at school, or I got this best friend who is still my best friend actually.
Oh, okay.
And she's we're like
inseparable.
Inseparable, yeah, but we're like so different also.
Okay.
And she taught me in kindergarten to like speak a little. I remember like And then when we started at school, I remember like because we came in as a bunch of, refugees. So we had people to talk to in our own language, and we would, in my school, I had my sisters and stuff, and we would like talk about them, and we thought they were speaking funny, and they would be like, no, it's you. And I just remember not getting what they were saying, and it was kind of like, and we would just stand like that. And I don't know, I don't remember when I learned it, but I know it now, obviously.
So you had a sister?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Oh, sorry, have,
yeah,
of course.
But she went, she's like not that much older than me, so we went to the same.
But that's great, though.
school.
Imagine if you didn't have one.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I don't know, because I don't like to admit this, and I'm sorry. But when we came to Norway, and as I grow up, I kind of become more proud of that, but it's not a diss. It's just like, I'm cool, I'm from Bergen. But we did actually live, I don't know if people know, like, where, Lindos, which is kind of, it's in Bergen we call them, Strela and stuff. And we were living there. I don't remember my point right now. Yeah, I don't know how it would be coming there at that time, like 1998, as the only Black person. I don't know how that would be. So I'm happy I had like this little support system of Black people. But I'm really, I have, I think, many reasons to why I really like nature and just like quiet. And it's because that's like my earliest memories from my childhood are from. So now I feel, I'm proud of growing up in the woodsy type of parts of
it's called the
Norway.
Boondocks.
Huh?
It's called the Boondocks.
Yeah. Oh.
Now you know. If you know, but real, you've seen the Boondocks,
yeah,
right?
I have.
Right.
Yeah.
It's called the Boondocks because the Boondocks is pretty much a predominantly white neighborhood where
Yeah.
you don't have that many people of color living in. So hence the name, the Boondocks.
Okay.
That's the reason why if you watch the cartoon, for those who haven't seen the Boondocks, please check it out. Okay.
I don't really.
It's amazing.
It is.
Whoa, okay,
I don't really remember, but I haven't watched it in years, so I don't really remember it. But isn't that like with Uncle Ruckus?
Dude, you were like 70. Well, let me not to this year or anything.
No.
if you were born in 94,
yeah,
and you came to Norway in 98, and the Boondocks came out in 99 and /2000, actually.
Okay.
So you were what, 6 years old?
Yeah. So I don't really haven't really watched that. I think that would be
I think you should go back and watch it. You see.
No?
There's a lot of good information there, especially when it comes to like the racial disparities and all that in society. But then again, now you're getting older. Okay.
I am.
You went to the whole. You're 5 years old. You come here. You do the whole thing, and then you get older. Now, was it strange for you when you were getting older? As in, was it some kind of an identity crisis of sorts going on in your mind?
I think that is, inevitable when you grow up as in this type of, I don't know if I can use this English word, but constellation, or as a Black person in a predominantly white country. I think it's inevitable that you feel kind of that you can sense that you're different, right? So I think those thoughts just they're always there. I think because kids know, when I knew, and we would have braids, we would have our hair, and I couldn't flip my hair. I can now with my weave, but I couldn't flip my hair back then, and like those small stuff. Kind of you pick up on that. So I think it starts early, and the more you grow, you know what the differences are. You don't know it as much when you're like young. But as I grew old, I was like, okay, suddenly I was like, well, I'm Black. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
The moment you realized you were Black?
So I realized I was black.
No, but I feel like I know. Like I think I've had that realization in my younger years.
Okay,
and,
when was that?
I think I was an early teen, early teen, and this kind of probably sounds funny, but I grew up a lot of different places in Bergen, and I was usually the only black person in my class. So, and I didn't think about that. I didn't really, even though I felt, I could feel the differences and stuff. That wasn't my thought process all day long. So I think in my early teens, I looked myself in the mirror one day and I was like, you're black, like you just.
The rude awakening.
No, it wasn't a rude awakening, but it was kind of like, it was like an epiphany. Or not an epiphany, but I know it sounds funny, but I don't know. You don't really think about it. And sometimes you just stop and you watch yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, I'm black. And with that comes, some acceptances. Like in my teens, I kind of thought about it and realized that I'm probably going to, what's it called? Oppleve, folkens.
Experience.
Experience, uncomfortable situations because of my skin color. My whole life.
But what will make you think that?
Huh?
What will make you think that?
What would make me think that? I kind of accepted that because I believe in change, but I believe that, it's a process. It's kind of everything in life is a process. So I think as a young teen, I just understood that, okay, you're probably going to meet these uncomfortable situations, and how do you want to react to that? So I kind of prepared myself when I realized that, okay, because of my skin color, this is probably going to happen, for the rest of my life. I mean, we've all been there. Have you had that thought?
Oh, man, I don't think anyone ever actually asked me that question, to be honest. I came here when I was 16.
Yeah.
And for me, it was, because when you're back home, you're not thinking about skin color or anything. Everyone is the same. We're just chilling.
I wonder how that is. I've never experienced that.
Right, because you were so young when you came here.
Yeah.
So luckily for me, I was 16. I came here, so it wasn't a thing until then you go to school. Because I went to high school in Oslo. I actually lived in Oslo.
Yeah.
I went to a place called Oslo Handelsgym. And then it was like, yo, man, like, what's going on here? But you don't think about it, though. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, you don't think about it, because you don't feel, because we are the same, but you don't walk around feeling black. Like, it's not, like, you can't really feel it on you. So you only really see it when you experience, like,
I feel like they remind you.
Kind of.
They remind you.
Those situations remind you. Yeah.
You end up in certain situations, and then you begin to, because when you're from where I'm from, Nigeria, racism is not a thing.
No.
It's not a thing. There's ethnicism, yes. There's tribalism, yes. But racism is just not a thing. So when you experience racism the first time,
oh, how was that?
You really don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't, because it's never, unless it's kind of very direct,
Which it became later.
It did.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, big time. You should have seen my desk in high school.
No.
Oh my God, those kids are nasty. But it's a thing, and that was where I began to understand, like, this is a real thing. But even then, you don't process it because you're so young.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to move, like you said, time changes and situation changes, and you just want to move ahead to the next situation. But it kind of follows you, though. Unfortunately, it's like this invisible monster that just follows you around. And you just don't want to turn around and look at it because it's like, I just want to keep moving type thing. But yeah, you become very, very aware pretty quickly. But then, which is why I want to ask you is, how did you manage to, I wouldn't say ignore. How did you manage to just, say, I'm just going to
just move forward?
Move forward.
I think that is kind of just, I think that's just a part of who I am. as a person, whether black, white, yellow, blue, or whatever. I think just because of, you know, I have I've already had a like turbulent childhood and stuff, and I think my thought process, I always I reflected a lot over the things, and I always just wanted to move forward. So I think, you know, when I decided that who really, you know, who cares what color you are? You know, kind of when you decide that, okay, but you're not my creator. You have no charge over me, and like you can't tell me what I can and cannot do. You know, kind of, because who are you to do that? Yeah. So when we're all the same, and we're all just born into the world and trying to do our best, and everybody wants a good life. No one like gets born and like it's like
I want to suffer.
Yeah, you know, yeah. You know, nobody wants to suffer, no. Sis. You don't know.
I like it over here.
I know. So I just feel like when I look at it like that,
right.
I'm just like, you know, it's possible for any, like, just make up your mind and just go for it, and just anyone, because we're all, like, granted, we are born with like different type of privileges and utifra.
Depending on where we're
where we're born and when we're, you know,
right.
And that's a fact, you know.
Right.
But just belief, you know, to me has always driven me, and belief that okay, but I can, like, and no one can say that I can't, you know. I'm an African, not an Africant. You know, have you heard that?
Okay.
Have you heard that?
Let me.
I know another C word. I'm
gonna write that down real quick.
You will, right?
I'm gonna write that
you
down.
know, I should be like, we're an African, not an Africant. Yeah, I find that
That's
funny.
Crazy.
Haven't you heard that before?
No, I think I have. I don't think I've seen someone actually articulate it the way you did.
I say it to myself
so.
Every morning. And, you know, I don't like to work out a lot, or I've started now, like, because I'm getting, you know, older, and I want to take care of my inner
You look
being.
great, though.
Thank you. I think it's the West African genes, to be honest. It is.
And
I did a lot of sports for many years. So I played football, soccer. For many years, and I was really active. So I feel like I've just built, I can take like a year's break because I played for so many years. But when I work out, like, I instantly get, you know, this personal trainer mentality with myself. And it's so funny because I have to laugh at myself. I'm like, the second day I work out, it's like, I'm an African, not African. Like, I will actually, like, okay, sometimes the best therapy for the body is a workout, you know, like those kind of quotes, those motivational quotes, like, work hard, play hard, or like those kind of things. I recite them in my mind.
That's
and
fine.
it is kind of motivational, to be honest.
For sure.
Yeah.
If only I can pull that off. But yeah, I got you. No, but then again, when you talk about, being, yes, of course, we can self-motivate ourselves, of course, or we can self-motivate, sorry. But I do believe there must have been some role models or people who inspired you.
Yeah.
Who you looked up to at the time.
Yeah, I think to find, like, you know, a representation of me in Norwegian music when I was younger, that was kind of hard, you know, and I get that. We are the second generation. We're fairly kind of new, if you think about it, you know, and so I had to look to America. I had to look to, you know, USA,
United States.
Yeah, the States, and that was cool, you know. I didn't really have, of course, we have like MTV. We had, you know. My brother listened a lot to like Foxy Brown and Lil' Kim and 50 Cent, and I was really tomboy when I grew up. I was really a tomboy, because he was my role model. And
your brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he taught me to like play football, and you know I was But I did, so I did listen to, Evie and Foxy Brown, and that was maybe a little bit later in my teens. But as a young girl, when I was like 10 or something, I would just look to what we saw on TV, like the beautiful women just looking so happy and being so confident. And that could be anyone, any color to me.
Okay.
So I didn't really have one specific until I became 14, 15 and, discovered Nicki Minaj on YouTube and was like, because...
Which verse?
I discovered Your Love. And after that, I rated YouTube. This was before her debut album. So she had mixtapes out, right?
Yeah, I was into that.
Yeah, rating YouTube for her. I think I discovered Your Love and listened to it. I can listen to a song a million times. Mm-hmm. And I tried to find all her. And I remember I talked about her to some of my friends, and no one knew who she was.
Isn't that annoying?
That was so annoying, and they were kind of hating as well because they were like, "Oh, that was jealousy." That must have. It was like, "Oh, okay," And I just loved her confidence. I couldn't, because I've always felt kind of a lot, because I've always been a tomboy. I've always done sports. I've always, so I felt like I didn't feel feminine in that sense, and when I felt like my personality was too much of, that's who I am though. But
Right.
I just remember looking at her and thinking, can I be that? Can I be that tough? Can I, as a woman, can I be that much? And I would just almost I was living
vicariously, yeah.
through her and taking on her confidence. And I was in ungdomsskola. I don't know what that is.
Junior high
then, and especially in those years of your life is exhausting.
Because a lot can go wrong.
Huh? Yeah, a lot, and everything is so big, and everything is so, you really think that is life, but it's not.
Nope.
But especially finding her then, I feel like it saved me in many ways. It saved my thoughts. It saved, I started focusing on writing and wanted to be a rapper. And I wish I had the texts. they were probably so bad, But
right.
when I think back at it, I was like, oh, that's so cute, girl. You want to be a rapper? And
you look back to your 15-year-old self and be like, okay.
and be like, oh, you're cute, So I feel that was really, at me as just a woman and a Black woman, that was really a turning point, I think, in my life.
But that's why I keep saying to people that representation is very important.
It is very important.
Because there's a lot of young Black women and men or boys and girls who, they live in a white space, which is Norway.
Yeah.
And they struggle to find people to look up to. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Nicki Minaj became someone you looked at, and of course your brother, definitely. So I think that's a really important thing for you to say too, because and you're going to say it actually saved you from your own self-destruction or something else.
To see just a Black woman taking up that much space, to me that was,
okay.
It was really inspirational.
Inspirational. All right, so then you go on to videregående, which is high school. Now you have more confidence. Or maybe not.
Says who?
I'm trying, just checking.
No, I feel like I didn't, those years in life are so, to me, those are the most maybe years filled with anxiety.
Okay.
I feel, to me, because, when I was 16, I actually, because I've probably been an anxious person all my life because of what I come from. And when I moved around a lot, I never really relaxed anywhere. I was always really tense. So I think when I first got my first anxiety attack, when I was 16, I didn't know what it was, and we didn't really speak about, I didn't know what anxiety was. And this was in I'm feeling old when I have to when I have to think back at what year that was. 16, guys. What was that? 2010, 11? It must have
10,
been like
2010.
Yeah. Or
So,
11. No.
isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
2010. It's
Scratch
2010.
that. It was 2010. And just like that's not a long time ago.
No.
But I didn't, as a 16-year-old, know what anxiety was because no one really spoke about it. So I'm so happy that we are actually shedding a light on anxiety because you don't really know what's wrong with you. You don't really know, like, when I had my first anxiety attack, I feel like I'm all over the place, by the way, with this conversation.
No, it's so good.
But, you know, you were talking about my self-confidence. And yeah, when I had that, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? I was so confused as to what it was. And I feel like when I started, you know, high school, it got really bad because I would carry it around and I would feel out of place. And I am kind of, since I'm used to moving a lot, I'm kind of a person that doesn't really show when I'm feeling anxious because I'm used to just putting up, you know, that front, especially like with people. So it was a tough time actually. And a lot like music kind of was the thing I feel like I could just sit and do by myself and I felt safe in.
Did you feel like people were judging you when they looked at you, or did you feel like out of place in terms of spaces? Or
no, I didn't. It wasn't because I was Black. It was just high school, and it was just, I think I didn't really do. It was a lot going on in my life around, you know, so I didn't really have the focus to focus on, you know, my schoolwork, and then you fall a little bit off, and it's a lot, you know, just going on. And then I moved again, and I didn't really, and it made me very anxious, and it made me anxious to go to school, and you know, it was just a lot. So to me, that was just, it wasn't okay. It wasn't that. It wasn't traumatic, except from the, you know, the anxiety attacks that started occurring then. But it was a tough time.
So when did you really discover hip hop then?
Oh, always loved hip hop. You know, there's one song, "However I Feel," that always makes me feel better, but it always makes me feel safe. For some reason, it could be like I could feel so stressed and so like confused and whatever, and that's Biggie's "Get Money."
Okay. Yeah. You could be as good as you want to get and be bad as the worst to get money. Get money, yeah. That's
but you know that, you know.
Yeah, that's the text.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
that's
I
the main
say.
text. You're singing the subtext. That's get money.
Yeah, I'm singing
I know my Biggie. Come on.
But you know, so I feel, and also because my brother, you know, I grew up listening to, he had like this huge 50 Cent poster with the chains and everything and with the abs and stuff. So I grew up watching that, you know, so no. No, I've always, but I also like a lot of other music. So I think I have a range in what I like, but hip hop has always been kind of, you know, since hip hop is from a place or a group and a culture which did not get heard in the like main culture. Yeah. It's kind of I feel like maybe it's a sanctuary for people who feel like they don't have the mainstream voice, you know.
Okay.
And feel out of place. So, and it's also like hip hop is a voice that has kind of had to fight to be heard. And, it's, you know, kind of, you are going to listen to what I have to say, you know? So, I think to me, I felt when I rapped, I could speak, you know? Yeah.
Give you a voice finally.
Yeah, it gave me a voice. It sounds kind of cliche, but it's true.
No, I mean, it is. I think people forget that rap actually stands for rhythm and poetry. And because every time people say, oh, rap is just rap, rap is just rap. And they forget that the poetry part of it is actually somewhat of somehow a safe haven for some people to pour out their emotions or whatever it is they can't express in the real world. So I can understand if hip hop, and I like the way you even put it, where hip hop had to always fight to be heard. And if you put that in another tangible in terms of like a personality of a person who feels neglected and ignored, then hip hop kind of automatically becomes that thing to associate yourself with in terms of looking for freedom or something else. But I do understand that you're a big fan of Beyond Ice Vogue.
Yeah, he's my favorite rapper, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. I started listening to him very early. I was 9, and I've always been, I've always wanted to write. That is kind of what I feel like I do, and that's my occupation, kind of just writing, and whatever it is. It could be poems, it could be text, or lyrics or whatever. I just like to write. So when I started listening to him, I am a huge fan of languages. So, and I feel I like the Norwegian language. I like nynorsk a lot, but that's a whole nother kind of conversation. Norges Mållag has to be here if we're going to have that conversation. I love nynorsk. And his texts just spoke to me. And as a 9-year-old girl, just listening to the first album that I received from him, which was Tålt, and just loving the melodies, loving the text, loving the playfulness of it. I feel like Bjørn Eidsvåg is kind of, he doesn't have that, or he does have that in some songs, but he doesn't always have that structure a normal song has.
Right.
So to me, that awakens kind of like, I feel it was fun for me to listen to. So when I did discover Nicki Minaj, I had already, written a lot because of Bjørn Eidsvåg, kind of listened to his texts. And when I discovered Nicki Minaj, I was like, okay, I want to rap, but I want to do it in Norwegian.
Which is interesting for you to say when you talk about the absence of structure, because then I do understand you are kind of inspired of Kendrick Lamar. Yeah,
I am. He is, I think I had this phase where I was like, okay, I'm going to be, the female Kendrick Lamar, and be like, but I could because, he's him. And
Which Kendrick, though?
I don't know. The early
Section 80.
Yeah,
Section 80, right.
But also, the Good Kid, Mad City.
Oh, of course, it's classic.
But I loved Section 80. And he just has a powerful voice, and he's a good storyteller. And he's his own in a way, which makes me listen to him and find him interesting and inspirational. So yeah, but do you feel like he has like the same, absence of
structure?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he does. I feel too.
I mean, the thing is, I've been into hip hop since forever, and this is gonna sound weird, but I love Kendrick, but I never thought he was a good lyricist.
You didn't?
I never did. I'm sorry. I just never thought that.
Yeah, I'm not Kendrick. You don't have to say sorry to me.
But no, people gonna hate me for that comment. I know I'm gonna get this blowback later.
But it's always like that.
And I'm gonna have the conversation with people is because I like I said, I enjoy the absence of structure. I'm the same. I do the same thing too. But what I enjoy about Kendrick is the theatrical performance of what he does. Kendrick is the best artist, but not necessarily the best lyricist.
No,
that's why I'm gonna go with J. Cole.
Okay, but that's like, I've never listened, like I couldn't tell you a J. Cole song because I haven't listened to him, but I know he has, but I feel like, isn't this kind of a feud? Because either you're J. Cole or either you're Kendrick, right? I am not in that feud. I just listen to what I like. But I feel like you're being a very advocate for your team right now.
No, not
your
really,
J.
because
Cole
I'm
team.
currently working on a record, and that record is actually 100% inspired by Kendrick Lamar.
It is. Okay.
Which means I can appreciate, like that's what I'm trying to tell people. I can appreciate Kendrick. I can understand how you discovered Kendrick Lamar. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of Kendrick. But when it comes to the discussion of hip hop, in terms of lyricism and text and context and double entendres and triple entendres, I'm going with J. Cole all day, every day.
But I don't really
Section
know.
80, Section 80 is a phenomenal record.
It is.
What track?
What track? I think my favorite track, or the one, I think that's High Power.
High Power.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I love all of them. I also like, Rigor Mortis, and that is in Section 80, right? Yeah. And I've listened through the whole thing, and I love the whole. What's the song with the campfire in the beginning
Oh,
called?
jeez, I can't remember for the life of me.
But I love the whole. I love albums I can listen through, and that is kind of an album I can listen to.
Because later on, you proceed to release a song on your SoundCloud called Hold On. Sorry.
Hold on.
Forgive me.
No, that's fine.
What inspired that track?
What inspired Bergen inspired that? Because, Bergen is a city I've lived in many parts of. I feel I had a almost relationship to this town. Okay. And I have a lot of feelings beyond just, being from here, but I have a lot of feelings connected to this town, and experiences from different areas. Like any area I drive through or walk through, I'm always like, and that was that made sentimental. Yeah. So when I moved from here, many people from Bergen never move, and I felt like that person. No, but that's cool, because like, why move? It's
That's
look
true.
at this.
Oh, the rain. But okay.
The rain. But it's kind of a city where you really, a lot of people have. It's such a city with a lot of feelings and a lot of love and fellowship. Fellowship, yeah, kind of fellowship, and it's just you feel like part of something in the city, and I think that's what many people love, even just moving to Bergen. So when I moved from here, I was like, I can't believe I just moved from Bergen, like what? And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I know that was what I needed at that time to just broaden my horizons and just get some perspective, and it was good for me then. And but I felt this kind of lovesick feeling. Yeah, nostalgia. No, but it was kind of, like I just broke up with someone when I moved, because it sounds weird. No, so I wrote the song about that. So it's kind of an ode and a love song to Bergen.
I always felt like Barry, like my relationship in Bergen is like a super toxic relationship, man.
It is?
Yeah, like when people say things, when you're in a relationship with someone that's super toxic, and then people say, when it's good, it's it's like
it's a love-hate thing.
Right, Yeah. When it's good, it's really good.
Really good.
But generally it's bad.
Yeah, that is toxic. That sounds really toxic.
It's like super toxic, and I think that's the reason why people keep coming back. But did you have a romantic relationship in Bergen before you left?
If I had one.
Have you ever had a romantic relationship in Bergen?
If I ever had one?
Yeah.
What if I've ever had a romantic?
Yeah.
Okay,
with a person, with another person.
What you're saying is, have I ever had in Bergen?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I get this question right. I just, I don't, maybe I have, maybe I haven't,
Because that's what I'm saying, because I knew when I give me that answer. Because in interviews, you have these cheesy questions like, tell me about your love life.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not what you're
But I never actually get that question. And sometimes I wanted that question just to be able to say I'm single, But just
so you are.
No, I'm joking. But, I get that. Let me think about that question for a minute.
I had to ask it
Yeah,
in that way.
But why did you ask like that?
Nah, because if you had a great relationship with someone in this particular kind of space, when you leave that space, your mind tends to wander back to the good times you had with that person. Because I feel like human beings are constantly in transit, you know, because when you end up in a new space, like in Oslo, and you maybe probably by yourself, the heart starts to linger and wonder and say, oh, what if that person was here with me right now? And that love sickness kind of heightens and the nostalgia triples up.
I know.
And you write a song.
That's really, that's human nature. I feel like we forget really quickly, and we're quick to, you know, only remember the good moments, you know. And that's probably a good thing, because that's maybe how we need to move through life, like in our personal lives, if you've, you know, experienced stuff, and just let things go.
So you release Hold On, and it's a massive hit. Everyone's knowing about it. Everyone is talking about it. I remember I was playing pool, which is my favorite game, by the way, with a friend of mine called Simon, who owns Vascaria.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, Michael, have you checked out this song? Hold On, it's like the best song ever made. And I'm like, yo, what's up with this?
Oh, wow.
I listened to the song, and I'm like, okay, I see that. And I actually came out, then literally 2 days later, you were playing your first gig.
At
Victoria, actually, in Bergen.
Yeah, it was like in Christmas time,
Yep,
right?
it was in Christmas time.
Yeah,
and
oh my
I was
gosh,
standing
I can't believe I did that. I don't know
Well,
what was... No, I'm happy I did it, but I can't believe that I actually had the
Right.
Yeah, I'm really happy I did that. What I mean is, like, I don't know, if when you know, the older you get, the more scared you get. But I was, I don't know.
You were young.
Young and fearless. I wasn't fearless, but you know.
But however, it brings us to my next question, because when I saw you perform that day, I remember asking my friends, and I said, she's released one song, right? And she's already on stage performing. And then people because then I read an article where they started comparing, saying you were Norway's new Kendrick Lamar. and that didn't really sit well with me, because the reason it didn't sit well with me was because I felt like it was unfair to do that to a person who just dropped one song and has the whole life ahead of her. And then you just put them in this weird box and say, this is who we think you are. Did you feel the pressure?
I think the first year I did feel the pressure, because I didn't have a plan whatsoever. I just thought, okay, like my Hold On wasn't even mixed or mastered. I didn't even know what that was.
You dropped on SoundCloud.
You know, it was kind of, but you can hear it now. I'm like, oof, you know, now I'm so professional, guys. I know everything now. But but it wasn't even, I did it for myself. I released it for myself, and I didn't really have a plan or anything. I didn't, you know, you can do music for years, and I didn't really have a plan. And I was 21. I was really young, and when it got picked up, it was kind of, it was both like, wow, okay, you guys like it, you believe in me, and it was kind of like, oh my gosh, these people think I know what I'm doing.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I got that so bad, because I was like, oh my gosh, someone is gonna blow my cover right soon, and they never did. So, you know, obviously I'm here today. But it was kind of, I did feel the pressure the first year, but that was mostly myself, because I didn't really believe in me. So it's weird for me to have people believing in me in that kind of way. And I think I was really afraid of disappointing people. So I did work really, really hard. I didn't release a lot the first year. I released like 2 songs, and I'm happy. I'm glad I did that, because to me, you really need time to find your voice in the studio. Sure. I think it took a year for me. Like Føler meg selv is the first. I made that December 2017, right?
Right.
And it took me the whole year to actually rap like that and use my voice like that. My sound engineer and the guy I was working with, like, the whole year, he had to always like turn me way up, because I was whispering. I didn't really So I could be in the studio and be like, I was so nervous and I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah,
Even
that
in
was
the studio?
me in the studio. You know, yeah. So the whole but I'm so happy, and that's how it is, you know, for a lot of people. So I'm happy I didn't rush, because I'm happy I waited kind of till I found my voice, and after that it was easier, because I was like, is that how it is then? Or can I just, because I want to use all parts of me. I want to, you know, sing, I want to rap, and I want to be both, you know, use the feminine and masculine side of me, and just be my whole self. So it took me a year to actually use my voice in the studio. Yeah.
I said this before. There's a guy. There's a great artist called Miles Davis, who said sometimes it might take you a long time before you actually sing like yourself. And people don't understand that. And that's why I reacted to the headlines when I saw. I feel like Norway does that a lot. Yeah. When somebody does one thing, just one thing, they now categorize you amongst people who've done this shit for years.
But I don't feel like that's only Norway, though. I feel like that's all over
the industry.
Yeah, you know, and that's I think that's kind of how we work as humans. Like it's not necessarily a good thing, but I think we need to understand stuff, and we need to you know, I don't know. I feel like they do that all over.
I never agreed with it, to be honest.
But I felt, you know, when the Kendrick Lamar thing happened, I was like, dang, you know, I'll take it. I'll take it. I don't know if I don't view myself as that, but I'll definitely take it.
Because I know people tend to, because Kendrick has a song called Hold On.
Yeah, so they hold up
on Section 80.
Yeah, so they kind of probably drew that conclusion and maybe thought I was inspired by him. But those two songs don't really remind me. I have to like remember Hold Up. Isn't it like hold up, hold up, hold up, man. Hold up?
Yeah, that's the line.
I'm more like, hold on.
Right.
Hold on.
Exactly. Right. Precisely.
My template, it's not even the same BPM.
It's not even the same thing, right?
You
I'm
know?
like, okay, sure. No, but then again, coming into the game, now a year has passed, and now you feel like, okay, cool. I feel like I got my gravity going on. I got my confidence going on. I got my swagger on. I'm ready to do this shit. Did you think, because this is such a male-dominant industry, were you scared? Were there anything like, oh man, I'm a female rapper coming into the game like this?
All. I didn't really. I know that it was there maybe when I was younger, but I was too focused on, you know, I was so happy I got the opportunity to just be me and do me. I was kind of like, I think I chose for it not to scare me. And also I did start working with, you know, Leo and Loss.
Right, yeah.
They had my, you know, I was in an Mgehusa. So I was surrounded by
top dogs
guys,
in the game, right?
And guys, and you know, and that really, you know, as a tomboy as well, and you know, that really I did that, but I could feel it if we were all gathered, and someone would pull out like a mic, and people would start doing verses. I would like sit back, kind of. That was the only times I would feel like, okay, maybe like I have written a verse here, but, you know, I'm not going to do that in front of, like, these 10 guys here.
No offense to those guys, but I'm pretty sure your verse was better.
I'm too. all,
shade,
you know,
I mean,
no shade. No, I say that with a humble heart.
just
No, it's funny. I'm just joking. Or am I?
Oh,
no.
Are you?
That was the only time I felt like that. But I felt, you know, I'm really happy I kind of started there. And when you make music kind of every day, you're in your own space every day. I didn't really, except when I was out playing, you know, it's like you're in your own space and making stuff that you like. And so, yeah, I don't think I had. So that's why I'm kind of, when people ask me, or what should I do as a girl, or I want to rap, and I'm like, just don't care. Just do it. Don't think about it. It's not, you know, just take your space. It's just do not register whoever's around you, or what kind of sex they are, whatever that is, you know, just do it. It's not.
You're absolutely right, because after that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you dropped Link Up,
Yeah.
the song. I think that was the song after. Was that your
Yeah.
official first single, if I'm not mistaken?
Huh?
You got Hold On, right?
Yeah, that's
and that's
my
on
my
SoundCloud.
debut. Yeah.
That was a debut.
And Link Up was like on Spotify. Yeah.
Right. And I listened to Link Up, and it's totally different vibes.
I know.
It was like a different person somehow, but it was nice to listen to at the same time. Did you feel more comfortable doing Link Up than you were, or was it just something you would say that we could shift mediums?
No, I think I was more. No, I think I was more uncomfortable doing Link Up, because Hold On, I didn't have any ice on me, So to me, and I was kind of afraid. Link Up, I think, came in May or June, and I hadn't really. I released, or I was on the song with Loss, and I think I was kind of, or are they waiting for me? Should I drop something? And I really liked Link Up. I had made some songs, but I like Link Up because that's, that's also a part of me. I am very outgoing, but also I'm introvert in kind of many ways. And Link Up is a song where I show both those sides, where I'm like, tip-top, like that, and then I rap, and so yeah, I haven't listened to it for some time. It's funny you're bringing it up, but I felt like that represented me the way, then.
I listened to some of your other songs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on. It's just,
there's always a lot going on.
There's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I'm asking sometimes. This is gonna be a question which I was scared to ask, but I think I'm gonna ask it anyway, since we're like on that steam roll.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel the pressure sometimes to compromise your sound, given the state of the industry these days?
I think no. I feel like the songs that I make are me, and I am a hip hop girl, but I'm also a pop girl. I love pop. I grew up in a pop era, and the early 2000s, looking like so I've always had that with me, and I love doing that as well, and just incorporating it like in what I do. So I feel like no, I haven't really felt the need to compromise anything, but I think I have struggled with making those two parts of me coexist. I think I could feel a little bit pressure on like, I just have to like rap a lot now. I just have to like pew 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 and just rap.
It's that bag.
Yeah, get that bag, and not sing.
Okay.
I think I could feel like that. But when I started both singing and rapping, it was like, but this is me, and this is, if I wanna, I just wanna write, and so that was more of what I was on the search for within myself, and learning how they could coexist, and those two sides to me could coexist and work together.
You have a song called Dette er mitt navn, which in English translates to "This is my name." And I always say sometimes that or people say, not I, that art is an imitation of life, or art is life. And when you look at the album cover or the record cover itself, it's
single cover,
the single cover.
Yeah.
It's like a double reflection of you, of sorts. And I'm trying to analyze what that actually means. And but I'm probably going to let you explain it yourself, since you're here in the room. It's a double reflection of yourself, and the lyrics are pretty much on point.
But I would like to hear how you analyze it.
No, it's hard to give an analysis on the record when the artist isn't right in front of you.
But
it's like super scary.
No, but I feel like once you release a track, I've always... I write based on my experiences and but I feel like once you release a track, it belongs to someone else, and their analysis and their, what they feel that song means to them is as important. So, yeah.
Are you putting me on the spot right now?
No, I am. Yeah, but no, but you don't have to. No, you don't have to.
No.
I think it's interesting.
There was something emotional about it.
Yeah.
First and foremost, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then there's this thing. Your name is Regina Tucker.
Yeah.
Right? And you're from Sierra Leone. Mm-hmm. Africans, maybe you might know it or not know it. We place a lot of emphasis on names. And when I saw the single cover, it was just, for me, that was like, I think this is a person who's just subconsciously trying to go back to who she is, or trapped in between places and trying to figure out the identity crisis that's going on, subconsciously or consciously. And I don't remember the lyrics right now. I wish I did, because it's in Norwegian and it's going, so it's hard for me to like retain. And then I saw it, and that song really hit me, because I felt like that was why I felt a connection in terms of you were at a space where you wanted to offload. You know what I mean? The whole, I get it, the whole, we need to look cool, we need to do all that, I get that. But every now and then, behind the scenes, it's hard to be cool all the time. And so when I saw that pulled me in right away. And of course, I might be wrong, but from face value right there, that was what I took out of it. And because I went on to listen to Hjemløs Egg and B, I think that's how you say it. Yeah. Right? Which won Edvard's, what do you call it?
Edvardprisen.
Edvardprisen. So I don't think I'm wrong too, because when you're in your bag, and by that I mean when you're in your writer's bag, that's when we see Myra for who she is. Yeah. Because a lot of people I feel like people tend to blur the lines sometimes. When we see artists who tend to jump between mediums of expression. Something like you're doing pop. Next thing you know, you're rapping. Next thing she's singing. Next thing she's just being emotional and just killing like this is what it was. It's so easy to not appreciate certain aspects of the person, maybe because the one song was a super hit that wasn't as emotional as Dette Mitt Navn or Hjemløs Egg and B. So I don't know if I'm wrong, but
no, I feel like that was it was a nice analysis.
Oh, thank you.
And I do think both Hjemløs Egg and B and Dette Mitt Navn were released in 2019, which was a year where there was a lot of self reflecting, and so subconsciously maybe, or but yeah, I did, and I kind of found back, because before that I had released a lot of the cool and fun songs, which I love, and I love making music to make myself happy, so that I can listen to and be happy. But I did have like this, when I wrote those songs, I did want to I had to like speak on it, so they were consciously kind of me just writing my diary and writing, reflecting over stuff that I hadn't reflected over earlier. And also I was at a place, especially with Hjemløs Egg and B, which is a song where I talk about my loneliness and in different places and stages of life, where I had come to that place where I could speak on it without it becoming like a huge emotional thing for me, because I had worked kind of through it.
No, I thought I felt like, yeah, man, she's definitely in it now, or going through it type thing, because every artist goes through it. It's so easy to see a person, especially with social media these days, where everything just is what it is. And people forget that we don't actually live in our pictures. They see a picture and they think, oh, that's and
romanticizing of
right. And I heard those two songs, and I wasn't surprised that Hjemløs Egg and B actually won that award. I wasn't surprised when I heard it. I was like, yo, this is tight. This is dope.
Thank you.
It was refreshing to listen to. It was like you breaking away from some kind of shackles of sorts, you know, trying to get back into your own introspective self and knowing who you are on a spiritual level. And speaking of spirituality, I got to ask you, are you a religious person?
Not religious, no. I do have faith.
Okay. Because you dropped Dovre Faller.
Yeah.
And I watched the video, and it was pretty much a reenactment of The Matrix.
Yeah.
And you were playing Morpheus.
Kind of. I really wanted to be, you know, what's her name?
Trinity.
No. Yeah, I love her as well, but you know, Jada Pinkett.
Right.
What's her name in that? Not something with N. And I think it's...
She wasn't in the first one.
No, I think she was
in the second one.
What? No.
Yes, because you took you were choosing between the pills, remember?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Well, that was.
I study your shit.
You did everything, but I felt like but that was, you know, I picked a white one because I choose the
third pill.
No, the white, you know, the truth, and it was kind of, you know, symbolism.
Right.
But I love the Matrix. I love, you know, I feel like it's a work of art.
Of course.
Matrix, you know, and I've always wanted to make, you know, the Miratrix. It's kind of a word play with my name, and you know, Miratrix and Matrix, and and I really just wanted to. You know, I didn't have the Matrix budget, but we did have, you know, the coding falling down my face, and but yeah, maybe I played Morpheus in the back of my mind, but it was the Jada Pinkett character that she was so badass.
What made you make that song? What made you decide?
I made that song in December last year.
Why?
What made me make? Yeah, you know, after when the first lockdown, because I feel like, or maybe it's just me, but when Corona or COVID came to Norway, we didn't really take it seriously until things locked down. You know, I was kind of looking around like, what? And suddenly we were inside, like, and I was also not feeling well the first week. It wasn't Corona, but like I think I was just tired, but I couldn't, I had to be in, you know, isolation because it could be, and we didn't really get tested back then, right? So I was like inside for 3 weeks straight, and had to be like even more inside, and I was living like this tiny space, and I just realized that because I have been working kind of straight up since I started, you know, doing music full time, and I've been working, and suddenly everything was quiet. I didn't have any outside, you know, stimuli or impulses, yeah. And suddenly I had to like listen, you know, to myself, and I had to check on myself in a whole different way, because usually you're like, yeah, you work and then you go home. You don't really have the time to think that much. And I realized that, okay, this is here I am, like in myself and in my life. And I had to like make a choice, which was hard. I suddenly had to like take care of myself in a whole nother way, because we're not meant to be isolated, right? And to me, I just made a choice, and it was really, really hard, and I'm still, it's a work in progress. But I made a choice that I would just love myself, you know, and take care of myself, because you are first and foremost like the one person you have to, unless you have kids, of course. But you know, you still have to take care of yourself.
Of course.
Like you are your responsibility. You have to take care of this whole person, and as much as you wish like well and on others, and are you're good to others, you have to be. This is also you're also a person, you know. So to me, that I just had to like declare to myself that, okay, I am going to, you know, it's really hard sometimes, and you know, I have my faces, and I have, you know, my battles, and but I am going to, you know, live my life and take care of myself and wish myself well.
Self-care.
Self-care, basically.
Self-care.
Self-care. In other words, like if you're not, I just had a whole speech. Self-care.
Self-care.
And I made that song as kind of independence declaration to myself. Yeah.
Well, but then again, I mean, so for someone who's been like steamrolling since 2016 or 2017,
Yeah.
I mean, what was it like when COVID hit? Did you feel like, okay, what am I going to do now?
I didn't really understand how long it would last. I thought like when it hit, it was kind of okay, but the summer, this is going to just last for like 2-3 weeks. Like, this is just, but also I don't really get how we could think like that, because whenever in your life have you been in a situation where the government like told everyone to stay inside? Like, I don't think we got the severity, of the situation. And to me, it was when the festivals, canceled, and it was kind of, okay, what do you do now? Just make music. And I think for me, it was kind of in some ways nice to be like, okay, I can just focus on making a lot of music now. And even though it sucks, I really want to do festivals again. But back then we didn't really believe it. Like, we didn't believe it would last until today. Like this,
today.
like
we're
today, we're still here. So yeah, it was hard. It was hard that things got canceled, and my life, you don't really go out and you don't really play. You don't really. So I've basically just been, making music. And
other than yourself, who do you listen to?
Other than myself, everyone listens to themselves, don't they?
Yeah, that's why I asked the question.
Yeah,
I mean, other than yourself, what you listen to in terms of music, or what books are you reading, stuff like that.
Right now, I actually started reading up on anarchy. I started reading this book of by Noam Chomsky.
Okay.
But that was actually a little bit because I am a curious person. I love knowledge, and I'm not a book smart, or we can all be book smart, but I'm not like, I learn by just learning and doing, and basically that's how I've lived my life. But I love the fact that everyone is capable to learn the same stuff. We all have the same brain. We can all learn, and I just love to know a little bit about everything, and just know the world. I hope that I get to know how, even naturfag, I don't know what that is, and
natural sciences.
Yeah, just how the earth works, and the universe works, and how we work, how we look. Just so I started reading up on anarchy and the history of anarchy, because you associated with kind of people who are just it's just chaos. But to read how anarchy has, am I saying that right in English?
Yeah, anarchy.
Yeah, has actually been a structure, kind of. It hasn't just been people. It has been people have been.
I think it's organized. It's organized chaos.
Yeah, it's but it's also the people who have been a part of moving things forward, and that it is a history behind it. Even though, I don't know if I am anarchist, but I
you are.
You think I am?
I mean, no.
To read about it.
I mean, for you,
everyone has a little bit,
right? I mean,
everyone has a little bit. But I was just really curious on what is this, because you make those associations, and I listened to this podcast about it, and I was like, I want to know more, and because I really liked the guy talking about it. It was so humble, and it was kind of just wanted to move forward, and this, the mindset he had this mindset of utopia.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just find that interesting.
No, but I think we all deep down should be anarchists, or have some traits of anarchy in us. Otherwise, we might end up in a stagnant society where nothing happens and nothing changes. You need culture shifters.
Yeah.
You need people to shake the tree every now and then, even though there's going to be a backlash at the end of it. Yeah, we know, but I don't think, like I said last week, you don't create a diamond without pressure. And for us to be so in a state of comatose almost, and say, oh, anarchy is unhealthy. A lot of people have that mindset.
Yeah, but that's like,
it's so
that's
weird.
just, we don't, but you've never really learned about it. You know, you don't really know anything but,
No.
you know, the A or something, the logo kind of thing. So
Right.
I just wanted
Educate
to know.
yourselves,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking because I know you were into books. I know. So what's your favorite book?
My favorite book, you know, I used to read a lot before. In my grown-up life, I don't know if I've had like the inner peace
Yeah.
or to do that, because you're so stressed and, you know, you just want to be able to sit down and read sometimes. But I have picked it up now. I don't know what my favorite book is, to be honest. I think I like books that are, I really like, you know, I could like fancy, but I also really like books that are informative.
Okay.
Just because even though they can be boring, you learn something, you know. And I think, yeah, I don't really know what my favorite, to be honest. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you should, but you know, just pick up a book. And
Or what book did you read that inspired you the most?
I think, you know, like that's a tough question, kind of.
I know.
No, let me think about it. Let me just process it, and
no
maybe we'll come
worries.
back.
Now, I asked that
Yeah.
question for a reason, is because I intentionally asked that question because when people are known in certain spaces for doing certain things, it's a good question because it makes you, and to know the answer is even better, obviously. And for you not even giving me an answer, it means there is a favorite book where you just can't remember what it is. And I don't blame you for that, because you just said to yourself that in your latter years now, you haven't found the inner peace to like pick up a book and finish it, right? And that's because you are constantly, you're constantly moving through time at a pace that does not require you to pick up a book. Therefore, forming a different persona of who you are. But when you really think about it and go back in time, when things super slow down, let's say when the music world is over and all that blah, blah, blah is over, you will remember the favorite book you read.
I think actually there is a book, you know, expatriates. I don't know how to say it in English. You know, there's a book in the Bible actually.
Oh,
which
the
is
Excelsions.
Yeah, exactly.
Excelsions.
Is that how you say it?
Excelsions.
Oh wow, for sure. No. You know, and I feel actually that book is really, because it's kind of it's a poetry book, right? And I remember a couple of years ago, I read it like for the first time, and it was kind of dark. It's kind of like, what is the meaning of all this? There's nothing new under the sun, and everything is very poetic. But it's not dark, but it's kind of, you know, just, how do I say that in English? Kind of like, you know,
Right.
but in a very poetic way. And I remember I read this verse, which was, you know, everything has its season. And that's kind of, you know, yeah, it's common sense. Yeah, everything has its seasons, but it was put in the way that was kind of just gave me this epiphany, because it was, you know, there's a time to plant, and there's a time to uproot, and it's true, you know, there's a time to embrace and a time to not embrace, and all those things in there. And it just made me realize that these are times that are coming or have been, and you can kind of prepare for the times that are coming and accept the times that are. So that really inspired me.
That's a beautiful thing to say, because people want to do things like you don't pick up the fruits the same day you plant the seeds.
No.
Type thing. But unfortunately, we live in this fast-paced world where people want things to happen quick. And lately, I started to say to myself that, when you watch a television series and people say things like, "Oh, I binged watched it," as in watch the whole thing quickly. I usually say, if you can binge watch a series, in my opinion, then the series is trash.
Oh, but no, I'm just really impatient. Like I would, and also if I'm waiting for it, I don't think they're trash. You know.
It's a nasty thing to say. I don't really mean they're trash. What I mean was that.
But if you watch the whole thing.
Right, and like in one day, man, you watch your whole series in one day. What are you doing?
Yeah, but I'm actually like that because I feel it's so I can't.
Well, my point is, so people don't understand me who are watching this. My point is this: we've forgotten how to slow down.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Back in the day, remember series used to come out like once a week, and you wait like the next week, and, and then you wait. That patience, we forgot how to preserve it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's on Netflix. All right, binge watch, done. And I'm not saying, I didn't mean trash directly, but it's just something lately.
I think it really messes with us.
Yeah, it does.
It makes us really impatient. It makes us, and I'm guilty of it as well, and
sometimes.
But and I've had periods in my life where I hadn't been or had a phone or like. Last year, I lost my phone and I just didn't buy a new one for like 2-3 months.
Yeah,
and I just bought like this Nokia and I was sleeping better. Like it was crazy. Like I got tired a lot quicker and I had like my mental health was better. And no, but seriously, and I feel like there's a lot of impressions all the time and we get used to getting that, those impulses, and without them we feel it stresses us to not, but actually I think it's all those impulses stressing us we're just not used to, the feelings we feel when we're not in, having or getting all those impulses. That is how we actually feel. And the impulse is the stress.
We forget how to feel. I think that's what it is. How to feel, how to appreciate things. Things come out now, all of a sudden I need to do it now. The series just came out, I need to finish that series right now, and then when it's done I don't know what to do with my life. Type feeling, which is weird. I started watching the series called The Underground Railroad by Barry Jenkins, the same guy who directed a movie called If Bill's Street Could Talk, which is inspired by a novel by James Baldwin. And the episodes are 1 hour long, and it's about slavery. I've never seen anything so visceral about slavery ever made before in my life.
Oh.
That I could barely get myself to finish the first episode.
Oh wow!
It was that powerful.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I think I need a couple of days in this one, and it was kind of nice, not to just breeze through it, and just like go slow by slow. But before we let you go, you get that, right?
Yeah. I think I'm always very proud of myself when I'm able to, like, if it's a new series that I'm watching and I actually turn it off and go to bed and be like, okay, let me watch the next episode. I'm always really proud of myself. I'm like, sis, wow.
Right.
That's called growth.
It's growth. It's super growth.
That's growth, honey.
It's so underrated. People don't understand that is an underrated thing to do. Like, you watch the first episode, I'm going to go to bed now.
Yeah.
Continue the next day,
because
right?
I couldn't stay up all night watching something. I can.
But if you give, before we let you go, a question. If you could give an advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, an advice to my younger self. I think that would be to just remember that we're all here kind of on the same terms.
Okay.
So when I felt, lesser or felt like I was out of place, that's not true. Like, we're all here on the same terms.
Right.
And that helped me kind of, when I think that now I'm like older and it came to me naturally. I just think that, I am also allowed in this space because we're here on the same terms. Or I am, why can't I? If you can, why can't I? Kind of, there is no kind of ladder. There is no human higher up than, like, it's not possible, you know. So, and we're all just here trying to, we're winging it. We're like winging it, you know. Nobody really knows anything. And just live, and don't, like, why should anyone or anything, like, be able to, like, tell you or where you can go, where you can't go, and, like, in the sense of, like, your own life, and, you know, just make a good life for yourself, and let that, yeah.
On that note, thanks for coming out to MoftMinds. You killed it.
Let go. Thank you for having
They think
me.
they could clap, they're not sure.
Don't. Nej, dere ikke gjøre det. Så rolig. En gang. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming out. Really. Thanks for coming out on this hot day. I'm wearing a jacket. I can't even believe it.
Er vi over, eller?
Thank you everybody for watching this episode of MoftMinds. It's interesting to talk with artists and interesting to talk about just their art. I think it's super important because I feel like sometimes we tend to sway towards the political side of things, like it's a natural thing to do, but sometimes it's good not to, for your mental health. Yes. You get a lot of that information on Instagram anyways, or Facebook anyways. So sometimes it's nice to just talk about what the person does, and we just stick it to that and just stick it at that pretty much. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have a great summer. I think we're back in 2 weeks. We need to check the program one more time, but thank you for sticking it out with us. Thank you for being there with us. It is appreciated. I still go by the name of Dorian's Grave. All of the episodes from this year are on the MoftMinds page on Facebook. You should check it out. A couple of cool conversations over there. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Enjoy the summer for what it is and what it will be. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Cheers. Have a good night.